cooler, but kind of muggy, but we'll take it.
Yeah,
Anytime we can get down to the double digits again, we'll take it.
You won't believe, James, we broke a major record yesterday. You know what that is?
Yeah, the 50 days above 110.
Yes. Do you know what
absolutely nothing to be proud of.
Do you know what the previous record was?
43.
33.
33?
33.
Wow, I thought it was 43 for some reason.
No,
wow.
33 in 2011. We just blew right past that one. And so here we are. But it did rain this morning. It rained for about 5 minutes. So, we take
Hey, that's 5 minutes more than we usually get.
It is. You're 100% right. So a couple other things in the news, some sad news. University of Arizona basketball coach Lute Olson passed away yesterday. So sad. He was an icon here in the state of Arizona. A lot of ASU fans came forward and that were hurt, saddened by it. A rivalry kidding aside, he was a great guy, great coach, and preferred the high school game, preferred high school coaching, but stuck with the college game because the pay. So
yeah, well, you can't argue with that, right, Vince? But a true legend down there in Tucson, Coach Lute Olson. He was there for a number of years, won the national championship in '97. Had an outstanding team there with Mike Bibby, among others, from Arizona. So
Sean Elliott.
Greatness, recognizing greatness there when you talk about ASU, talking about U of A, and there's times where you got to kind of drop that rivalry curtain and just talk about what's real. And then Coach Lute Olson was a real one down there in Tucson.
He was a postseason qualifier 23 straight years out of 24 seasons that he coached at the U of A. So that is an incredible run, incredible streak, and he put him on the map. So R.I.P. Coach Lute Olson.
Yes, and to see the team, some of his athletes that he coached, even back here at Iowa. I don't even know he was a coach at Iowa before he was at Arizona. And seeing some of those players come out and talk about the man that he was and the coach and then the figure that he was to them was pretty impressive. So R.I.P. Coach Lute Olson for sure.
Another tragedy also yesterday, last night, Chadwick Boseman, actor of the Black Panther, passed away from colon cancer. He had it for 4 years, hit it well. And
I had no idea.
Surgeries and and actually my favorite role that he had portrayed was in the movie 42. He played Jackie Robinson, and loved that movie. It was a great movie, and actually he died on Jackie Robinson Day. So,
that's 2020 for you, Vince, right there. I was stunned as well. I saw that on the news after I got home last night that he had passed away. And again, I said I didn't even realize he was sick or had any sort of health issues. And then all of a sudden, so we're not promised tomorrow, Vince. So we got to make the most of today.
43 years old. So it's tragic, and rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. So what else is going on, James?
We're inching closer to the high school football season, Vince. We're getting closer and closer, and things are continuing to trend the correct way for the coronavirus situation here in Arizona. And we just still have our fingers crossed that we can get the season underway here in about 5 more weeks. I mean, if it was normal times right now, we would have already had 2 of our Thursday night football games in. Red Mountain High School will be 2-0 already. I mean, it's crazy, Vince. So I don't know but it's coming. It's coming. We just got to hang in for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, it is coming. I checked with quite a few coaches over the past week just to find out how things were, what phase they were in. I think the consensus right now is that most of the schools are in phase 2, to where they're just starting to use the football. They're doing team activities while still maintaining some order of social distancing, just to be safe. Parents, obviously, not allowed at practice. But to be honest with you, this became an issue over this pandemic, but I used to have to beg parents to come to practice when I was coaching, because they say, "Why isn't my kid playing?" And I'd say, "Come to practice."
And we'll show you.
Come to practice. And now they make it a big deal that they want to go to practice.
Yes, all of a sudden you want to go to practice now. Yeah. No, it's an interesting time. We've got apparently about a month away, Vince. So 4 weeks. So let's say let's say most teams go to phase 3, I guess, is when you can start having contact and you can pad up and put the helmets on. If you had 2 solid weeks of that practice with whatever they've done so far in the offseason, which obviously is different than normal, you should be able to go out and compete. Would you agree? Because typically 2 days or a week. Some teams go 2 weeks. Now back in Texas, we go 3 weeks. But, don't you think that would be sufficient to get ready to go out and play? Because obviously some of the concern right now is about a level playing field. Some of the schools are not able to get started yet. Some of the West Valley schools. And so everybody's kind of saying, hey, what about the amount of preparation? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, you need a certain number of days that you're in a helmet, certain number of days that you're in full gear, and yeah, if you have at least 2 weeks in phase three, you should be ready to go. Now, ideally, they want 3 weeks of practice time in full gear, contact before they play a game. And many of the school districts also they're attempting to come back September 8th. There's a few that are still slated for early middle October, and those might even shift if everybody else comes back first, into September there, right after Labor Day. So more to be seen there. One of the districts that didn't close out not having a season altogether, they kind of put it as pending, was Phoenix Union High School District, that they're taking a wait and see approach, that they may adjust that and bring their kids back to school in September. They may bring their sports season back. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. They're not scheduled to come back until October on campus, but they may consider playing a season if everybody else essentially comes to the table and wants to have a season. So they haven't ruled it out altogether yet. They're taking a wait and see approach, and I think they're the only one, for that matter, that has said, we're not going to close it out altogether. We're just shelving it for now to see how everything else goes with everyone else, and so it'll be interesting. But I'm geared up. I am so excited. I am jonesing for football, James.
Oh, you have no idea. We got football today, as a matter of fact, Vince, the
But
start
yeah,
of college football today. And we're going to have one of the play-by-play announcers in that game on here with us this morning from Central Arkansas Bears. Justin
yeah.
Ackery is going to join us in the second half of the hour.
James, when you said you were booking this guy, I was like, Central Arkansas. Why are we booking a broadcaster from Central Arkansas? And it's funny. I picked up the paper this morning, and it says college season set to kick off in Alabama.
There's a method to my madness, Vince.
Between Central Arkansas and Austin Peay on ESPN tonight. So
yes.
Yeah, 6 p.m. our time. So we're gonna get Justin on to give us a preview, and it'll be exciting. I bet you Central Arkansas is gonna have the highest rated audience ever in the history of football tonight, because it's the only game on.
More people will have watched Central Arkansas play football tonight than ever before after this evening. So I'm excited to talk to Justin and just get the level of excitement there, not only from the players and the coaches, but from himself. He's got to be pumped up, right? I would be.
Yes. And then we're going out to the West Valley this morning. We're bringing on Tonopah Valley football coach Dustin Johnson. And the reason why we're bringing Dustin on is Dustin was one of our participants in the Thursday night high school football game of the week. Want to get him on, want to go out to the West Valley, because there's a lot going on in the West Valley. There's a metropolis that's brewing out there. So we want to see what he has to say and how all of this has affected he and his team and how they're preparing.
Now, next week is going to be really critical, Vince, because there's supposed to be a report delivered to the AIA from their health advisory committee. I'm not sure of the exact acronym I'm using there, but their health advisory committee is going to submit a report to the AIA, and they're going to disseminate that to all the schools and coaches. And that's pretty much going to lay the final foundation for the fall season. Now, whether that's going to be continue the dates that we have in place now, and here's our last recommended precautions that need to be taken as you go forward, or there could possibly be another delay in there somewhere, but next week will be critical. And then we should get really those final schedules in from the schools, and we can reshuffle that Thursday night football schedule and get it dialed in and get those games going. So we're really excited for next week and to see what happens on that front.
In our final segment today, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to do something a little bit different. It's Club Basketball Day today on the JV Sports Show. So our final segment, we're going to devote to a couple of club basketball programs, Powerhouse Hoops and Phoenix Fire. Coach Matt Bjorklund from Powerhouse and Coach Kirk Foskey from Phoenix Fire are going to be joining us. So we're going to get them on, talk a little bit about this rise in club basketball and these national tournaments and nationally ranked players, and just to get a little bit more information. I mean, this is a I don't want to call it a sleeping giant, but club ball for both boys and girls is the last couple of years, James, is gotten big.
It's really blown up, Vince. I don't know if you remember a school called Westwind Prep a few years
Yes.
ago. I
Yeah.
believe it was off I-17 and I want to say Bethany Home or Glendale, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the same sort of deal, but on a much smaller scale. And these coaches have now come and revived that sort of model, if you will,
Yep.
and it has just blown up. So I can't wait to talk to them and find out exactly what's going on over there. And they've pulled a lot of good players as well, Vince. So
Can't
I want
wait.
to talk to them about that as
Can't
well.
wait. And that'll be in our final segment. Oh, there's one other thing, James, I wanted to show you. So I've really been, I'm president of the
Let's
board
talk
of
about the
directors.
Journey shirt first of all.
Oh yeah, there you go. 2006. This was I went to the. It was a concert. It was Journey, and it was
Foreigner and
Def Leppard.
Styx.
No, not
Def
that
Leppard.
one. Not that one. It was Def Leppard and Journey. But the lead singer of Journey that tour was a guy that was a former roadie named Jeff Scott Soto.
So Jeff Scott Soto is a fantastic vocalist. He is actually on the Trans-Siberian Orchestra tour, Vince.
Wow.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Yes, he's a top-notch musician. He's been in a number of major bands, and Jeff Scott Soto. Yeah, he was in Journey he was in that band. You saw a brief portion of his history in Journey because he was only in the band about 3 months, Vince.
Yes.
So you caught him just in time.
Did a great job. The other thing is, that I'm president of the board of the Cave Creek Museum here and nearby in Cave Creek up north here. And I've really jumped headfirst into learning about history, local history. And a friend of mine, a local architect named Michael Johnson, gave me a gift. Are you familiar with a guy named Paolo Soleri?
I am not.
Been around, he's passed away now, but he was a local artist. He used to make these bells. And Michael gave me this bell. This bell, it was signed by Soleri. It was made in 1955. Guess what this bell retails for? If you
$600.
If you were my kids, you'd say, Dad, I wouldn't pay $2 for that. But it's ceramic and metal, $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's anyway. a work of art right there, Vince.
Yes. Anyway.
So stay tuned here on the JV Sports Show. We'll be right back. We're going to visit with head coach Dustin Johnson from the Tonopah Valley Phoenix. And then in the second part of our hour, we'll talk with Justin Ackery from the Central Arkansas Bears and round out our show with Powerhouse Hoops and Phoenix Fire coaches Matt Borklin and Kirk Fauski. Stay tuned.
We'll be back.
Woo! Barely got that one in. Okay.
This is our commercial.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Can we get a copy of that, by the way?
I know.
I would love to have a copy of that intro if you could ever shoot it over to us and pull it out. That little spot that we just had. Okay, thank you, pal. I've been meaning to ask for that, Vince, since we first did that first one, and I just keep forgetting to do it. All right, so next we got Dustin Johnson. So you want to bring him on, and we'll just maybe. So that should be our first game, right? Or if everything holds.
It was September 10th. Actually, was when Valley Lutheran. I made a mistake. It was.
Okay.
Tonopah Valley was September 10th. But we've got a couple of teams.
But we might be able to get them on the slate still, just depending on how it all shakes out, right?
We got to find out. How soon do you think you'll find out the schedule?
Well, it won't be until at least next Wednesday. Okay. When they deliver that report or whatever, and then because some of the 3A schedules are already starting to populate in there, but they said that we're going to release them all at the same time, so it's not going to be till next week. I wish it was now. Trust me, I'd love to just get it hammered out, but we can't until it comes out, and then we can, because we still want to pick some good games. I know there's some teams that we, for lack of a better term, promised a game to.
Yeah.
But we got we still want to get some good games, right?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah.
We'll get it all squared away. Let me let Coach Johnson in, okay?
Sure.
We got to make sure he's called in. I should have done that a minute ago. There he is. Coach, good morning. How are you? He might not have his volume up.
Okay. Coach Johnson. All right. Does he know? Has he called in? Coach Johnson. Oh, okay. Coach Johnson, are you there? We can't hear you. And we need you to call in also. We need you to call in. Oh, got it. Thanks, Aaron. Okay. But we can't hear you.
You might be muted, Coach.
Okay.
We'll get it, Vince.
All right.
You bring us back.
Okay. Oh, we didn't do. I thought you were going to do.
I got busy at work. I'm
We'll do
sorry.
it next week.
Is that good?
There you go. Now just turn your other phone volume down in your set. That's perfect. Perfect. Right there. You're good.
I'm not sure which one to mute.
No, you got it right now.
Welcome
Coach.
back to the JV Sports
I can barely
Show.
hear you.
James and Vincent James here. And you heard the intro that, well, not only is it rush day, every week could be rush day for us.
Yes.
I love, gosh, I just
Have we done Journey yet, by the way?
We did. I think we did Journey one week, but we can always go back to it. There were a lot of great songs. A lot of the early stuff was pretty awesome.
Yes.
Okay, joining us on the JV High School Spotlight Hotline is none other than Tonopah Valley, and we're getting, if you're on our YouTube channel, you get a great shot of his ear.
Yeah, sorry, I kept turning on turn the audio on. I'm not sure how to do that.
Dustin Johnson.
We'll get it squared away, Coach. How are you?
How are you, man? You're eager. You won't even let us introduce him. He's so eager to get on the air with us. Coach, how's it going out there in the West Valley?
It's doing good. I mean, it's hot.
Yeah. Does it rain out there? I don't think it rains in the West Valley, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
We actually got a our administration's really,
Speak into your phone a little bit more, Coach, if you would, please. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Our administration's really bought into our program and everything, and so we actually passed a bond this last school year where we were able to get a new field, and that new field has all the new things where it's turf and it's got all the special stuff where it's not as hot. So I mean that's a definite positive that we have.
Coach, talk about how long you've been out there at Tonopah Valley and where you were coaching at before that.
And so, speak into your phone a little closer, Coach. Sorry, we can't hear you at the studio.
I got to get even closer.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. So I started off, I was a defensive coordinator at Buckeye High School.
I think it's the other phone you need to bring closer.
Even more.
I
think the other phone.
Phones?
The other phone, yes.
The one you're connected to the radio station. Yeah.
Got it.
There we go.
And he's driving too. Look at that.
Now we're straight. You got it, Coach.
All right. So I was 7 years at Buckeye High School. I was a defensive coordinator out there. And from there, I went straight to Tonopah. And for 3 years, I was the defensive coordinator out there. And then I moved up to the head coach. I've been the head coach out there. This is my 5th year.
Wow. What's the enrollment of Tonopah Valley High?
We've been growing. I mean, you guys talked about that a second ago, as well as talking about Journey, which, props for that, man. I was at that concert.
You were in 06?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, man, we might have tapped the beers.
Yeah, we've been growing big. We got a development community out there. It's not just Tonopah. We got a development community out there called Tartesso, and it's booming. It's not huge yet, but the projected growth eventually in time, they're predicting that it's going to be big enough to have 4 high schools by itself.
Wow.
So it's a pretty big one. We are growing. We got new rooftops all the time. Our enrollment right now, I think I last heard is we're over 600, approaching 700.
Wow. Okay. So you guys right now are playing 2A, but that's going to be short lived because I got to imagine.
I imagine
advancing. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about Thursday night football. So when the schedule initially came out back in June, we had you slated to head over to play Valley Lutheran in that game.
Yes.
And so obviously that would have been September 10th. The first game of the season isn't going to be October 2nd. What are you hearing in terms of the schedule now? With that, are you still going to have a chance to play these guys? What's going on?
I've heard it's in the mix still. I've heard that a lot of 2A schedules minus the region games are way up in the air. And with that, we're really not sure. I hear rumblings, but there's nothing set in stone in the slightest. We'd still like to. We appreciate the competition and everything. And the year before, we had a really good showing and scored a lot of points on them. And then last year it was kind of a shootout. They sure are, improving every year. You got great coaching staff and the kids have really bought into what they're doing. And we'd like to see them again. But we'll kind of face whoever we got to just to get, these kids some games. We want to make sure that we can make that happen first off.
comfortable in being able to actually officially have games and even haven't scheduled yet that we're still waiting on that. How do you keep those kids calm and keep them focused on the task at hand, which is, let's face it, playing football. When we get the go sign, we get the green light, it's still going to be blocking and tackling and throwing and catching. How do you keep all those kids focused?
Our kids are just excited to get out there and do something at this point. I think that's what it's, what it's like at a lot of places. Everybody's just been, with quarantine and everything, everybody's been sitting and everything so long that everybody was just excited to just get out and do stuff. So even when we were closed at school and we weren't able to do things, I'm aware that our kids would do everything that they could together. They'd go to the park and stuff like that. They just want to play. They want to get out and they want to do something. So even, for the first time in history, kids are excited to practice. Practice is better than doing nothing.
That's right.
Coach, what's the being in the West Valley? It's a small community out there. What's the fraternity like of the coaches, the other head coaches out there? You got Buckeyes, Kelly Moore. You got Canyon View, Scott Harris, new head coach. You had a little further east. You have Roy Lopez at Collison. What's the relationship like with those other coaches? You guys been communicating a lot this offseason?
Yeah, we have. We talk a little bit and stuff like that. Coach Moore's a good person. We get to him talking. And in fact, Nick Garrett's at Westview was the head coach at Tonopah before he went there. And him and I are real good friends. He's one of my best friends. So we talk daily. We're constantly talking and stuff like that. So he has a lot of insight and stuff. Some of these bigger schools, they get just a little bit more info than some of us small schools. And so,
and with Desert Edge, you've got the, Marcus and Mark Carter out there, and,
yes.
and they're putting together something really special. But it's quite a fraternity of coaches, and so hopefully you guys have been working together to try to get this, bring football back, and working with your administration. What are your parents like out there?
Great parents. We have fantastic people out here out in the West Valley. My first year, we established a booster club. Never had it before, and they've just really bought in. The booster club that we have, I always say it's not necessarily about making the money, but us coaches and players play the game. They make it an event. They make it as cool as they can with all the pregame stuff and getting us all the socks and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is them making it more of an event. We play the game.
Coach, who's going to pose the biggest challenge for you guys in the 2A this season?
I think that we're all, trying to get in the mix, trying to be the second best team in 2A history. But, we all want to do that we can. But, obviously, Rashard Davis over in Santa Cruz, they got a real good team. Parker's in our region. They're real good. Trivium's always tough. And then there's just some, like I mentioned, even Valley Lutheran's growing and getting better, and Glendale Prep's getting better. And then you got just the guys that are always going to be right there in the mix and always good. Never discount Benson. There's just a lot of schools. There's some small schools. Morenci had to play the most brutal schedule every single year. Same with Pima. So had they been a different schedule, they might have been a different team. So, without them playing some of these, schools like Thatcher and Round Valley, who knows what their seasons are going to be like.
Coach, so that's a lot of travel. I mean, you're mentioning schools like that are 5 hours this way, 6 hours that way. Parker, I mean, how do you, that's the one thing about playing a smaller, smaller school football is that Thatcher. I mean, how do you do that? How do you travel 1 week to the next? And will that be the case this year again?
So we don't play Morenci per se, but I was just mentioning some of the 2A schools that are some of the better ones. But okay. I'll tell you, a few years ago we did, and we had to travel to Morenci, and it's such a long trip that we had to either get 2 bus drivers together, which we couldn't. So we had to go put our bus driver up in a hotel, and they were so nice, and they have such a nice wrestling facility that they put us up in their wrestling rooms. We slept in the wrestling room after the game.
Wow.
So we had to sleep in the rest. We had to stay the night and then come back home. So it does get, it's not the easiest by any means, but we're so far west that Parker's, it's not a close trip by any means, but Parker, we go to Parker. We were original schedule. We were slated to go to Globe, Kingman. We played Kingman Academy. They're in our region. So us being so far west, we do get some of those very far west teams. When Yuma Catholic was in 2A, we used to play Yuma Catholic. So I mean, we just kind of get in that mix of the far, far west.
James,
Phoenix traffic, right?
that's right. And little fun fact for you, James. Before he was the legendary, Super Bowl champion Bill Walsh, the late Bill Walsh, he was a high school football coach and he drove the bus.
No kidding.
He did. Drove the team bus. So anyway, little fun fact for you on a Saturday morning. Yeah. So anyway, Coach Johnson, thank you so much. We look forward to at least trying to get out there to do one of your games this year. Based off of the revised schedule. How soon are you going to know?
I wish I had that answer.
You already know your schedule, don't you?
Come on, Coach.
I wish. I have zero idea. I'll tell you what our region schedule is, because that's set. Outside of that, we have 2 freedom games, and we have zero idea. I wish I knew.
And you don't know who those freedom opponents are going to be?
Nope.
Come on, man.
We'll get you on the schedule, Coach, as soon as everything gets out.
Hope so.
Which will hopefully be next week. We'll check back in with you and see if we can get you guys on the schedule.
Absolutely.
Quick shout out to Valley Lutheran head football coach Brian Porter. You got anything you want to say to Porter?
I told him I was going to throw a lot of shade on him. I can't believe he's decided to golf rather than be on the radio. What the heck's the problem? I guess choices, right?
All right. Coach Johnson, Dustin Johnson, Tonopah Valley head football coach. Thank you so much, Coach. We'll talk to you a little bit later in the fall, and we'll get your schedule. Coming up next, James, what do we have?
Arkansas Bears is going to join us here on the JV Sports Show. They're going to kick off
The Governors. Go JV. Thanks, Coach Johnson. Appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you guys very much.
That was awesome.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Very low.
Oh man, I don't think you could hear me at all during the last segment on YouTube. Hold on.
I'm making you the host. You made me the host. Here you go.
Check 1 2.
All right, you are the host.
Okay, sweet. Can you hear me at all?
You're very low, very dim.
I don't know why it's not coming through. Let's see. Check 1 2. How about now?
Still dim.
Let's see here.
Is Justin joining us on the live stream too?
Hold on a second. Check 1 2.
That was for a split second. It was better.
Hold on. Check 1 2.
Little better.
Man, what's the deal here? Aaron, can you hear me okay back at the station? Okay, perfect.
That's
I
a
don't know
little
what's
better.
going on here with the check 1
That's
2.
better. That's better.
All right, I'll just eat it, I guess.
No, you're good. It's much better. Is Justin joining us on the live stream too?
Yes, he's supposed to
okay.
be. He's supposed to be. Let's see. Come on, Justin. said he didn't get the link. Can you bring us back?
Yeah.
Let me get it to him. Try to anyway, if I can do it fast enough. All right.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. The great KDB, Kevin Derryberry there with the intro and a little Spirit of Radio. That's how I start my Mondays off, James. So
I love it.
Yeah, love it. Love Spirit of Radio. Love Rush. So this will be interesting because we're bringing on our next guest. Talk a little bit about our next guest, James.
Well, our next guest is the play-by-play voice of the Central Arkansas Bears, and they are kicking off the college football season tonight as they're hosting the Austin Peay Governors. We're going to talk now with play-by-play voice of the Bears, Justin Ackery. Justin, are you with us? We're doing great. Thanks for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. Oh, yes, indeed. How excited are you? I want to get the vibe of the fans, of the coaches, of the players, but how excited are you to finally be back in the booth and calling some football tonight?
Well, and that being said, Justin, you've got a worldwide audience that'll be watching this game. This thing essentially, and I say this kind of in a sense a little bit jokingly, but I'm also a little bit serious. You're going to be attracting like some incredible numbers rating wise that are going to learn about Central Arkansas and about Austin Peay. What are they doing about the stadium and about how many people are going to be at this game tonight? Wow.
Now, you mentioned the success of both of these teams, Justin. Both teams reaching the playoffs last season, with Central Arkansas advancing to the second round and Austin Peay going to the quarterfinals. What kind of challenge are the Governors going to pose tonight to your ball club?
Justin, when did you guys get there, and what's the environment been like? You talked about the support of the community, but how amped up are the coaches? I mean, you spent a lot of time with these guys, kind of picking their brains, talking to them about their players, and also being around the players. But when did you get there, and what's it been like? Okay. Oh wow.
We're visiting here with Justin Ackery, the play-by-play voice of the Central Arkansas Bears. Justin, when did you officially start prepping for tonight's game, and how exciting was that to finally sit down and say, "All right, I'm finally prepping for a game. Let's go."
Well, Justin, you're giving us hope out here because this is Pac-12 country and there ain't no football being played right now, and as well as NAIA Sooner Athletic Conference country. And so we're living vicariously through you. So whatever you're telling us right now, we're just eating it up because we need it. We need this.
We're just jealous. We wish we were prepping for a game.
Yeah. That sounds so insincere, James. It's so insincere.
Oh, come on, Vince.
I know. I'm sorry, Justin. Yeah. Yeah, all the grandparents live out here. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Justin, since COVID is obviously going to bring some different challenges broadcasting wise. There will be a different amount of fans. We might be facing some games coming up in our seasons that have no fans or very little fans. Will you be broadcasting any differently, or are you just going to kind of go in there and do your thing and tell the story of the game and call the game as you see it? Oh, no.
Wow. Justin, what other? We're actually running a little short on time, but what other accommodations are being made in terms of the schedule that you've noticed? Are they limiting travel throughout the season? Is it going to be only conference games with the exception of the UAB game? I mean, what any other accommodations that maybe may not be the norm in typical years? Okay.
Well, we'll be tuned in tonight for sure. Thank you so much for joining us today. Justin Ackery, the play-by-play voice of the Central Arkansas Bears. Don't forget to catch that game tonight, 6 p.m. Arizona time on ESPN. It'll be Austin Peay against Central Arkansas down in Montgomery, Alabama in the Crampton Bowl. So enjoy that. And like I say, have a great call, Justin, and just have a great night. Enjoy the game. And we'll be tuned in out here from Arizona for sure.
Thank you, Justin. Wow. Prime time on ESPN.
How about that, Vince?
Not even the Ocho. They got the Prime channel.
That's it.
Oh, man.
The only show in town.
Coming up next, club basketball. Stick around. We got Powerhouse Hoops and Phoenix Fire, coaches from each. Stay with us on the JV Sports Show. We'll be back. I think
Okay.
Kirk is going to call about 5 minutes in.
Okay.
So we kind of split the segment that way. So, James, we need to keep an eye on the clock, too. Go to about 9:52
Okay.
with Matt.
9:52.
Yeah,
Got it.
9:52 with Matt, and then Kirk will right at 9:53.
Now, hey, clear up something for me right quick before we bring these guys on.
Yeah.
I was looking this up and I could not figure it out. Is Powerhouse Hoops and Phoenix Fire, are they under that same PHH Prep umbrella?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to
And
figure
that's
out,
what I'm
and
not
I know
sure about either.
one's a girls team and another's a
but
boys team.
There was a coach that used to be with one, now he's with the other. So
we're gonna have to have them clear it up then.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's why we're kind of bringing them on separately.
Okay, perfect.
So-
Oh, I see. Okay, I get it now.
Matt
Got it.
first, 5 minutes wrap. And then,
Maybe a little.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of sports.
We got to do some of their games.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be.
We got to find out when they when do they play? Do they play? I don't know when they play. Do they play alongside the high school season? Do they play in the spring when the high school kids are not playing?
Yeah.
I would imagine that would be what they would have to do, or most of the time.
That was a great get for us, man. I had no idea. I'm like, why is he bringing on the Central? And then I opened the paper and it's right there.
It's a method.
Game. Yeah.
Well, I was like, what? That'd be cool to talk to the guys kicking it off, right?
Yeah. Wow.
I sent the link on YouTube. He just must. Or I sent the link on his email. He just must not have got it. I texted to him, but he just couldn't get on. I guess that's all right. That was great.
Yeah.
I know you're like Central Arkansas. What?
Yeah.
What in the world are you doing? Hey, he is on ESPN. We're not, so it's all good.
Yeah. So he's doing the TV play-by-play.
I believe so. Yeah.
That's crazy. You know how many millions of people that are going to be watching that game?
Oh, a lot. A lot. Well, that little kickoff right there. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Let you bring us back?
No.
Sweet.
Yeah, okay.
I sent the Zoom link to these guys too.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. Little subdivisions. I love the drum intro. Every Rush song with the drum intro is so unique, and I just love it. James and Vince here. James, so we decided to shift the focus a little bit. We've got we're doing a club segment, and hopefully we can do this. A couple of times a month would be great, just to kind of get some
Yes.
updates on club sports, club basketball. Joining us on the line from Powerhouse Hoops here in town, Matt Bjorklund. Coach Bjorklund, how are you, sir? Thank you. Question for you. So, Coach, tell us a little bit about your history. I did some checking. I saw you spent you were the interim head basketball coach for a time out at South Mountain Community College. You from the Valley? Give us a little bit of history.
Now, Coach Bjorklund, tell us about Powerhouse Hoops and about the Phoenix club basketball scene as a whole. It's obviously gotten way larger in the past, just even the past few months.
National implications.
And it's getting national attention. Tell us what's going on. You're getting some outstanding players. I don't know if the word recruit is the right word to use, but you guys are getting some athletes over there.
Coach, where do you practice and play your games, and when does the season tip off, and how do people find you? I mean, what that want to come out and watch games, and I'm sure you're finding the kids that you want on the teams, but how does all that come about?
Now, Coach, are you going to have multiple teams under the Powerhouse Hoops umbrella? You'll have girls teams, guys teams, different ages and so forth. Tell us a little bit about that in the last minute or two we have here with you.
Awesome. Coach Matt Bjorklund, thank you so much for calling in, Coach, and join us. James and I were talking off air that we've got to get out there and do a game for you once things tip off, and maybe provide a little bit of coverage on your season and spotlight some of the young people that you've got in the program. So we'll definitely stay in touch with you and keep track of all the great things that you're doing out there at Powerhouse Hoops. Wow. Yeah. And where again, Coach, is the facility going to be exactly that you're looking? Okay. Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Right.
Powerhouse Hoops, Coach Matt Bjorklund, thank you so much for joining us, Coach. We really appreciate it. And again, we'll check in with you here in the near future and get out there and cover some of those games. Have a great weekend.
Okay, well, James, that was great. It looks like we didn't catch Coach Fauski out at Phoenix Fire, but that's okay. We'll look to have him on down the road, and that was great. Yes, and the other thing I read about in the paper this morning is the facility on 320 acres out in the East Valley, out by Gateway, that they're building. It's going to be a mecca for sports.
Well, that's great if you think about the proximity right there to Gateway Airport. Allegiant Airlines, a couple of airlines, I believe, in talks to go out there as well. So that would be really convenient to have tournaments. The kids could fly in from out of state right there to Gateway Airport. They're, I think, 5-8 minutes at the most from the basketball facility, and it's just really convenient. I'm sure you're going to see a lot of hotels and stuff going up out there as well. So big time basketball, prep basketball coming to the East Valley. So stay tuned on that from Powerhouse Hoops.
Big time. James, so I'm so itching to talk about things that we've got going on, and I can't because it's not finalized yet. But the things
it's close, Vince.
It is so
it's close.
It is so close. But biggest thing is the bright spot. Hopefully, we've got some football coming back beginning October 2nd, October 1st, actually, Thursday night game of the week. It remains to be seen who that's going to be that will be broadcasting, but we are going to be broadcasting the game, as many others. We've had coaches reach out to us over the past week saying, hey, I want to get my, I've got an idea, a general idea what my schedule is going to be, not official by the AIA, but I've got dates. This is what I want, and we want to get you guys out there to start broadcasting.
Yeah, we're already kind of shuffling the deck, so just stay tuned, and we'll have some more updates hopefully next week on that. The AIA is going to come out with some more directives next week, and then we should be able to get the rest of those schedules finalized. They want to try to release everything at one time so there's not as much confusion about, oh, well, I've seen this, but I haven't seen this one yet. So they're trying to – obviously they have to wait until everything's finalized and a little more set in stone, if you will, before they can release it. But we should have that information next week, and we're looking forward to that.
Well, and here's the other question that I have is that the districts that have said, we're taking a wait and see approach, is the AIA going to give them a deadline before they commit?
That's
and
another
say, "Look,
question.
you got to let us know. You can't just, come end of September, say, okay, we're going to play now after the schedule's already out. So what are they going to do? Come
Yeah,
on, guys.
there
Come
has
on,
to be sort of
Gators.
a drop dead date. So we're
Yeah.
hoping that everybody that's in is in, and anyone that needs to be out is going to make that plain and clear from the get go, and then we can get that schedule finalized. And if we get 8 games in, Vince, that would be successful, I would think. So after all is said and done, everything that we've been through the spring and into the summer, if we can get an 8-game high school football season in for the JV Sports Show Thursday night game of the week, that would be outstanding. So
It would be.
thanks to our special guest today. We had on Dustin Johnson from the Tonopah Valley Phoenix, Justin Ackery from the Central Arkansas Bears, and Matt Borkland, the coach from Powerhouse Hoops. It was another great show, Vince.
It was. And coming up next, don't change your dial because we got Ed and Javon next to Easy Sports. Great guys. Love them. And they cover everything from pro to college to everything in between. So good guys. Thanks again. Thanks to our show partners. We'll be back here next week as we have been every week for you. And I love it. James, great week.
A great week. Thanks to Vetspoke Contracting, Angel Dentistry, Stessa Movement Company, Training Better Athletes, Coach Ron Sowers, Sal's Gilbert Pizza out there in the East Valley. All of our show partners, we thank you so much. Everyone have a great week. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And we will talk to you next Saturday.
Go, JB. All right. All right, man.
Good show, man. Let me get off this line here.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, that was a last-minute audible. Sweet. Okay. Sweet. Good show.
Keep me posted on Rich on Monday, and
I'll set up the Zoom link and all that and send it out here over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, if you can.
I haven't
record
even
it,
done
that'd
that
be
yet.
awesome.
Yes.
That was good. And then just let them know, because we have talk about our format, and let them know we're waiting to see what the schedule looks like before we get those segments recorded. So hopefully we can.
So I know you were talking about you sent me that little brief format. That was good, I think. So if we could do that the week, like if our show, like we don't want to have our show start. Okay, let's say Thursday, October 1st is our first game.
Mhm.
We want to have, if that's the case, we want to have our first show that Sunday before that.
Yes,
because we want to get that ball rolling. So we're previewing the next week and then going to the next week. Because if we start after the first game, then we can't preview anything really.
No, agree.
I mean, we can preview the next week's game, but that's going to be a little off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And
so I'm going to kind of try to convey that to him if that's cool with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, 100%. And I think that's even what he said. He said we would be the week before. It would air the week before, because September 27th kind of stuck in my head, knowing that the high school season actually kicked off October 1st or 2nd. So
that's 4 weeks from tomorrow, our first show.
Oh, man. Can you imagine?
4 weeks from tomorrow.
And it's going to be gangbusters. We're going to be running around. But I like the idea of us doing individual interviews so that we got one mic,
Yeah.
And then we go in studio. Was there a way to get rid of the that kind of, there was that little echo sound at the beginning?
Well, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we got to use different audio setup.
And the ties were killing me. I don't, maybe just a collared shirt or something.
The tie. What about some nice polos?
Yeah,
we get some JV Sports Show polos.
Well, yeah, or
let me stop the live stream. I don't think I've done that yet. Hold on.
Anyway,
I mean, not like anyone's watching, but let's see. Yeah, I couldn't imagine getting a call one of the first games tonight. That'd be awesome.
Wow, I wouldn't know what to say. I mean,
I know.
It's just so long and so exciting, I'd be talking about shoes that you guys are wearing and
right.
Yeah.
Come on. There we go. And end stream.